Hi friends, welcome to this video on a very interesting topic. Combinations of no marriage or difficulty in marriage in your birth chart. To subscribe to this channel, if you want consultation, then my details are there in the video description. Alright, so let's get started. Now friends, how will you know whether you will ever get married or not? Okay, or do you have a proper marriage combination or possibility of marriage? Is it there in your birth chart? Is the promise of marriage there in a birth chart? How will you know? So first of all, I would say you should look at the 7th Lord. The 7th Lord in Vedic astrology is considered to be the significator of your spouse, because 7th house is the house of marriage. Alright, now 7th Lord, look at the zodiac sign which is there in your 7th house, okay, and the Lord of that zodiac sign. Say you have the sign of Pisces in your 7th house, then the Lord of Pisces is Jupiter. So your 7th Lord will be Jupiter. Alright, so 7th Lord, does it have any combination with Ketu? Then that is also not considered to be a very strong, or what should I say, it's not considered to be a very positive factor for marriage, because Ketu is a planet of separation, detachment. Alright, so when 7th Lord is in trine with Ketu, if there is a trinal connection between the 7th Lord and Ketu, that is the 5th aspect or 9th aspect is falling on Ketu, or if it's in conjunction with Ketu in the same house, or if Ketu's 12th aspect is falling on the 7th Lord, whichever be the planet, it is not considered to be good for marriage actually. Alright, now I made such a video earlier also, and many people have asked me that if there is, if it's in conjunction with Ketu, then also marriage happens. So I'm not saying that marriage will not happen, okay? Marriage will happen, it can happen, but there will be difficulty in marriage first thing, okay? Supposing the marriage in arranging the marriage itself, there may be difficulty, or the marriage may happen very smoothly, then after marriage there will be some difficulty. Some sort of distance will set in between the couple. Some distance will set in, and that distance will somehow take them apart. It can happen. Now, will it always end up in divorce? Well, it may not. Okay? In some charts I have seen that it can end up in a divorce and legal separation, while in other charts I have seen that even if they stay under the same roof, they are not, they don't have any conjugal relation as such. Somehow, husband and wife, they get estranged from each other, and they are separated from each other physically in spite of staying in the same house. That also can happen. Yes, there could be one thing when Ketu is in conjunction with 7th Lord. Now Ketu is spirituality. Alright, so if the person is spiritually inclined or is into spiritual practices, okay, seriously is into spiritual practices, then definitely it can show that your life partner, 7th Lord is your partner, can have spiritual love for you. Alright, so, or there can be a very beautiful spiritual bond between the two of you, but somehow you can be distant, so you can get distanced from each other. This definitely happens. Whether you stay in the marriage, whether you don't stay, whether you part ways and you move apart legally, or whether you decide to somehow make that marriage work, but the distance can inevitably set in if it is not a case of spiritual love or spiritual connection or being engaged in spiritual practices. Then definitely some separation, some distance can set in. Alright? Now, the seventh lord, in which house it is placed, that is very crucial. In your D1 chart, if the seventh lord is placed in the 12th house, then also it is not considered to be very good. Unless you get married to a foreigner, alright? You get married to somebody who lives in a different part of the country or world. But I have also seen if people get married to a person staying in a different region, which is totally different from their place. Say the native is in the northeast and their spouse, say, is in the west of India. Even if they get married, then also there could be separation. That is not always going to save them. But yes, if your spouse, seventh lord in the 12th house is the house of foreign culture, some foreignness, foreign element. So if your spouse speaks a different language, or is from a different religion, or is from a different geographical region where the culture is largely different, or is from a different country altogether, then definitely there is a possibility that the marriage could work. But how will you get the confirmation whether the marriage is going to work or not? For that, do look at the D9 chart. The D9 or the Navamsha is a chart of your fortune, your destiny. Okay, what's written there? Okay, so we all are so curious to know. So look at the D9 chart. That is really the key to all your queries. Okay, now in the D9 chart, look at your seventh lord. If your seventh lord is in the 9th house, then it's a very positive sign. That shows 9th house is the house of fortune. It shows that after marriage you can be fortunate. Okay, and say in the D1 chart, 7th lord was in the 12th house, so the person was from a foreign culture, and now in the D9 chart, 7th lord has gone to the 9th house. That is again very positive. You can be very fortunate after marriage. Your marriage will bring good fortune to you. There'll be growth, expansion in life after marriage. Beautiful. Placement of the 7th lord in the D9 chart if it's placed in the 9th house. But now, say in the D1 chart, the 7th lord was in the 12th house. And now you find that in the D9 chart, the 7th lord has gone to the 8th house. Then what? The 8th house is the house of sorrow. Endings. Things end here. Because it is also the house of death. Though we see longevity also, but after all, 8th house is the house of death. All endings. Okay, we see from the 8th house. Okay, sudden happenings in life. Okay, unexpected things happening in life. And endings. So yeah, 8th house signifies loss. So it could be the loss of your marriage, loss of your partnership with your spouse, and the marriage could end if you have the 7th lord in the 8th house in Navamsha. So please look at the placement of the 7th lord in the Navamsha. That is very crucial. Say your 7th lord is Jupiter and it's in the 8th house in Navamsha. And then is marriage totally denied? Perhaps no. Maybe the person may get married. The person may get separated for a while from the partner. The relationship may not be that smooth. Okay? And if the person is not running the Mahadasha of the 7th lord, Mahadasha or Antardasha of the 7th lord, then the person might be even saved. Because Dasha or the period is very important. That decides the course of your life, future life. Your birth chart may have a lot of Raj Yogas. You may have wonderful things in your chart, but if the Dasha of that planet is not there in your life, then those promises may remain unfulfilled or they may not materialize. So it's very important for the Dasha to happen. So if you're not running the Dasha of the 7th Lord, then you may be saved. At times there may be separation from the spouse. Okay, you need to do it. It's gone to the 8th house, so need to do a lot of charity. Okay, 7th Lord, what is that planet? Look at that planet. If it's Jupiter, then maybe things which are yellow in color like turmeric, even gold, money, even you can say all things which are signified by Jupiter, like gold is a very common thing, even yellow, whatever is yellow thread, yellow, whatever is yellow color associated with Jupiter, and also that pulses, no? There is a certain pulse, it's called chana dal, it's the exact term in English. So that pulses, no, yellow pulses. So if you donate yellow pulses also, donation or charity, it can be a very good remedy of that planet which is in the 8th house as 7th Lord in your Navamsha chart also. So in your birth chart, 7th Lord is in the 12th house. 12th house is also the house of charity. So do some donation. That's a very good remedy to save your marriage. All right, you can do all that. And yeah, means if you're not running the Dasha, Mahadasha, Antardasha of the 7th Lord, you can be saved. Okay, the marriage may be saved. Otherwise, because if the Dasha of the 7th Lord, you're running that Dasha, and 7th Lord is gone to the 8th house in Navamsha and 12th in the D1 chart, then definitely there can be a lot of ups and downs, trials, tribulations, problems in the marriage, a lot of difficulty in the marriage. Okay, maybe you'll have to go through a lot of upheavals you'll be going through. Okay, a lot of emotional upheavals even, and you will not know what to do. And if the Dasha of the 7th Lord is running, unfortunately, then the marriage may even come to an end. So that's how you should look at this 7th Lord, its placement in the D1 chart or the Lagna chart, and also in the D9 chart and the Navamsha chart. Okay, and find out whether you're running the Dasha of that 7th Lord planet or not. Okay, so if it's an Antardasha, it will be there for maybe a couple of years, so you need to be very careful, do a lot of donation, lot of charity, especially connected to that planet 7th Lord. Do a lot of charity, do whatever you can to help the poor. Maybe it can save you, it can save your marriage. If it's a Mahadasha may run for many years. I mean, so then it could be difficult for the native to save their marriage. Yeah, that's what I have seen. Now do let me know what you think in the comment box. Now friends, again there are other combinations like Venus. Venus planet is also the significator of marriage, of conjugal relationship between husband and wife. If you have Venus Ketu combination in your D1 chart, or even look at the D9 chart, that is also not considered to be very good for marriage, because Ketu is definitely a planet of separation or detachment. So either Venus is the significator of the wife also in Vedic astrology. So your wife could be spiritual or could be into occult fields, into any of the occult sciences or technology, could be into any medicine, could be into any field connected to Ketu, or there could be a lot of spiritual love between you and your wife, but somehow some distance can set in. Physically somehow you may get separated from each other due to work or due to some other reason. It can happen. I'm not saying that you have Venus Ketu in the D1 or D9 chart, the marriage will come to an end. It's not like that. You may have Venus Ketu and the marriage may still somehow be functional, but definitely some distance can set in. You may have to stay apart from each other. Sometimes this can happen due to work or due to various reasons. If you're running the Dasha of Venus or Ketu, then you will feel that even more. Alright? The same goes also with Venus Rahu. Because Ketu and Rahu, both the shadow planets, are planets of obstacles, problems. Okay? So when you have Venus Rahu also, then also you may have problems in the marriage. But Venus Rahu, it's not necessary that you will have a separation. In fact, Rahu is the planet of attachment. Alright? So maybe you will be very much attached to your wife, or your wife also could be very much attached to you. You'll be very much attached to your marriage. But you may have some arguments with your wife. This can happen. These things can be regulated if the wife is from a foreign culture, because Rahu is anything that is foreign. Alright? So yeah, if wife is from a foreign culture, then definitely, or if Venus is marriage, maybe if you get married in a foreign land, then problems between husband and wife can be minimized or reduced to a great extent. But yes, Venus Rahu is not believed to be the deal breaker actually, because Rahu is after all attachment. Okay, so it is not a deal breaker, but yes, at times it can lead to problems in a marriage. It can, because when you have suppose your wife is also not from a foreign culture, and you've like the energy of Rahu, either foreign culture or a foreign land. So then what will happen? You may have constant problems, struggles in the relationship, which can make the relationship a very bitter one. You may have a very bitter experience, which may even lead to separation. You never know. I've seen certain birth charts with Venus Rahu combination, and they have a lot of fights at times, and in some cases I've also seen that the marriage has ended finally. So this could also happen, because after all, Rahu and Ketu, these planets are planets of obstacles. Alright? But more than Rahu, I think people are scared of Ketu, because Rahu is after all attachment. But you may have to stay away from your wife, even if you have Venus Rahu. So maybe your wife has to go away sometimes for some reason, but then you'll be very much attached to each other. This can also be the case. Okay, but nevertheless, if your wife is not going away from you, because Rahu is foreign, going away, or if your wife is also not from a foreign culture, then definitely I've seen that there could be problems, struggles in the relationship, and you may have to overcome various obstacles to make your marriage work. All right, so friends, do let me know your experience, what you think about your position of Venus, or whether you're happily married, what is your case, and how much whatever I have told you, how much it has resonated with you. I will remain eager to know that. So do let me know in the comment section. And yeah, I think that's all I want to tell you. The main planets that you have to look at is definitely the 7th Lord, Venus. Also you can look at the Darakaraka planet. Yeah, forgot to tell you, Darakaraka is again very important. The Darakaraka, say in your birth chart, if the Darakaraka is Sun and you have Sun Rahu combination, then you can get married, but there can be problems if it's a very close combination. And again, Sun and Rahu, they are enemies, so the marriage you may have to undergo a lot of problems in your marital life. This can happen. Your Darakaraka is Moon and you have Moon Ketu combination, then also you may be separated from your life partner. This can happen. So look at the Darakaraka. The Darakaraka planet is the planet which has the lowest degrees in your birth chart. Also, one more thing I forgot to mention, look at your first lord and seventh lord. The first lord and seventh lord, what is, how many houses they're away from each other. They should not be at the 6-8 position. Okay, 6-8 position in bhrigunandinaadi is not considered to be auspicious for marriage. 6-8 position is not considered to be. Okay, I got a comment earlier, what if there is Mars, because Mars has 8th aspect. Whatever it be, Mars has 8th aspect, I know that. But the 6-8 position, that is, say the first lord is Mercury, your ascendant lord is Mercury. Alright, say you're a Virgo ascendant. 7th lord is Jupiter. Mercury and Jupiter, what aspect is there? If there is a trinal aspect, 5-9 aspect, it will be very good for your marriage. Okay, 4-10 aspect is also not considered to be good actually. There will be problems in the marriage. Initially there will be problems, tension, it could even lead to separation. I've seen that in many charts. 4-10 is not a good aspect. Okay, but the denial of marriage is the 6-8 aspect. 4-10, the marriage can maybe somehow be saved. Maybe it is also to some extent in your hands. If you want, you can exercise your willpower and you can save the marriage maybe. Maybe you have a choice if it is 4-10 also. But 6-8 means it's very difficult. In the first place, say Mercury is your first lord, Jupiter is the 7th lord. Mercury and Jupiter, say from Mercury, Jupiter has gone to the 8th position. And so from Jupiter, Mercury will go to the 6th position, or vice versa. It is not considered to be good for marriage. Not at all. In the first place, marriage may not happen. Okay, it may not happen. It may get fixed, but not materialize. This could be one scenario. Or even if the marriage happens, it can end in separation or a divorce. So that was my take on various combinations of no marriage situation or difficulty in marriage in your birth chart. Let me know, what do you think? What do you think, and what you have seen so far? Let me know in the comment box. Friends, if you want personal consultation, my details, number is there in the video description. Take care. Do subscribe. Bye.